For our next story, let's talk about the C word, climate change. For starters, it's real. Our planet is heating up, and there is an urgent need for all countries to come together to ensure timely action. One such attempt is being made by French President Emmanuel Macron, a rather ambitious one. He's hosting a two-day summit in Paris starting today. The agenda is clear: to draw an economic plan for the global south and to help them fight climate change. Now, this is not the first time that such grand plans have been made or talked about. But will this meeting make a difference? Our next report explores.
What comes to mind when you think of summits on climate change? The COP summit, perhaps? A yearly affair where leaders meet, make promises on paper, only to revisit them next year. Now, France is adding another one to the list: a summit for new global financial pact. Sounds fancy and ambitious, right? Wait till you hear its aim. To build a new contract between the global north and south to address climate change. Quite a mouthful. Let's break this down. Paris is witnessing a two-day summit. French President Emmanuel Macron is co-hosting this with Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley. Around 50 heads of states and government are in attendance. These include US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Additionally, climate change activists like Greta Thunberg, World Bank Chief Ajay Banga, and IMF's Kristalina Georgieva are expected to be there too. So what's on the agenda? Well, multiple things, like restructuring debt and reducing poverty in the global south. But the overarching theme is this: tackling climate change. French President Macron says the next 2 years are critical.
If we miss the target, if we are not sufficiently ambitious and efficient, if we don't move our standards and portfolio, trust of our people will be lost. Which means that all the governments we can engage with you in that direction will be under pressure of their people.
Broadly, the Paris summit plans to take off from where the COP27 ended last year. Remember the Loss and Damage Fund? It aims to help developing countries tackle climate change. Now, Macron, along with the attendees, are brainstorming on how to finance this fund. The decisions made here, if any, aren't expected to be binding. And that's exactly the problem while dealing with climate change. You see, climate change is a global phenomenon. The crisis needs to be tackled urgently, and all countries have to come together for this. The COVID-19 pandemic, Ukraine war, and staggering inflation in some countries have only added to the troubles. The economic requirements to fight climate change are significant. As per a UN-backed report, the global south needs investments worth $2 trillion annually by 2030 to tackle climate change. That's a massive sum. How much have the wealthy countries been able to match? Not even its own target of $100 billion. Wealthy nations like United States of America, Australia, France, Germany had pledged this sum. First in 2009 and then again in 2015 under the Paris Climate Agreement. But how much of this was achieved? As of 2020, just $83.3 billion. Well short of their own moderate goal. Reportedly, the $100 billion target is also expected to be missed for 2021 and 2022. And this hasn't gone down well with countries like India.
Developed countries have been promising to finance. They have never delivered on it. They will keep saying, every conference, they will tell developing countries, please raise your climate ambition. So they will raise climate ambition. West, forget about financial ambition. They will not even deliver on old financial promises. And very frankly, this has been a very, very tough and very frustrating experience.
So will the Paris summit be any different? Do not expect any big bang decisions. But a concrete action has the potential of separating it from other climate change summits. And more importantly, taking the first concrete step in fighting climate change.